Alright, welcome. New band, new album series for me to discuss. This time I'm going to be talking about the Paramore discography. It's not that big by any means, only 5 albums, but then again, they, as a band themselves, in terms of an album coming out, they've been around since like 2005. Again, in terms of like an album being released. 5 albums, like I said. I will after Laughter. I will do the Final Riot. That definitely deserves an album review in itself. And who knows? Maybe later this year or next year, I will. There will be like the Paramore sixth album coming out. There's definitely things that have been worked on for the past year or two, and seems to be quite a few little messages and breadcrumbs and stuff as to an album that will be coming out. So I'm definitely interested in that. But of course, as all album reviews go for a band, we start off with the first album for them, Paramore. All We Know Is Falling. Pretty interesting album cover. I actually dig the little cosmic atmosphere going on in the background and stuff. And you got like this red couch. I don't know, probably find it somewhere. There's the band right there. It will kind of pretty much be the same, except like Jeremy Davis comes back because he left for this album. They got like a new person to kind of fill his spot in. And in fact, like the first song is about Jeremy Davis leaving. It's kind of funny because that won't be the first time he leaves the band. Second time will be a bit worse considering that he goes on to sue the band. Yeah, but like I said, there's the back. Great stuff, 2005 written all over that. 10 tracks, and inside looks like that. You got more of like the cosmic stuff going on. I like the blue. And pretty much the same thing on that side. In terms of the sleeve itself, a lot of it's pretty much the same. So you get your songs and all the lyrics in there. There is one picture, and that is on the back, or close to like the final page, with like the all the thanks and stuff that people give. I would say I think it's pretty cool that they're very open. Obviously, if you read the thank yous and kind of understand the band themselves, how open they are with being Christian and stuff. I know that can be rather kind of a turn off and stuff, but I think it's pretty cool that they're pretty open with that and thank God and Jesus and stuff like that. I'm not really that religious at all, but I still think it's pretty cool. But anyways, like I said, Paramore, All We Know Is Falling. I think this is a pretty good album for a band that's just, that's new, in the scene and stuff, and especially for Haley. She's like, 15 on this album. There might be like one song which kind of like, but most off, there's some pretty great stuff on here, and overall, it's a pretty good album, and definitely I wouldn't pass it up, considering there's some great nuggets on here. But as for the album itself, well, let's get started. Okay, the first track is All We Know. Obviously, as I talked about, that's about Jeremy Davis, who's the bassist of the band, leaving. And like I said, he'll come back on the next album for Riot, and he will be through until the self-titled album. He's not on After Laughter. Yeah, he left again, and then, like I said, he ends up suing the band for like royalties. I don't know. It's a huge fucking mess, but if I remember correctly, it didn't go anywhere, because something like with a contract or stuff like that. Because like Haley's like the only one signed to Atlantic Records, so there's stuff like that. But I don't know, it's a whole fucking mess. That's the one thing with this band. This band has been through like a fuck ton of headaches. That you just go through each album, you learn more and more stuff about headaches, whether it's stuff like this, band members leaving, like a lot of depression, anxiety, bickering. It's just like a lot of headaches and stuff, and like the fact that Paramore is still around, considering all this stuff, with Taylor York and Zach Farrell and Haley Williams, that's a pretty damn good trio, and hopefully it lasts for quite some time. But anyways, for the song I said, All We Know. There's brief guitar intro. That's like a lot of these songs on this album. there's like a very brief intro, then it just gets like right to the stuff, and the lyrics come straight away. A lot of this stuff is very straightforward in terms of lyrics. Obviously, I'm not a fucking music critic. It's like, oh, it's not that. It's very straightforward, but it's still good. And obviously, you see from future albums how mature the band gets, and especially Haley in terms of lyrics themselves. And it's all about just like a reflection on someone, like leaving, and like a lot of these songs, like yes, they are based on something, but you can easily, interpret it into a situation of yourself. Perhaps it's a family member leaving, perhaps it's a friend leaving, somebody whatever the case is, that you can relate to this stuff, right? Just all the thoughts and feelings surrounding it. Lines, and like this song, it's very rock all the way through. Kind of pissed off demeanor and stuff, like what the fuck attitude, but the lyrics such as, we've tried so hard to understand, but we can't, we held the world out in our hands and you just ran away, stuff like that. And we can follow you back home, but we won't, like this is what we want to do and we're going to stick to it. If you don't feel comfortable, sure, go do whatever, but we want to continue as a band and we're going to do such. But basically the entire song, it's like taking time to accept that decision that somebody made, walking away from something, to see a person or like, perhaps a good friend leave after being together, and just like trying to wrap your mind around like why they will make that decision. The chorus is catchy, and we got like the drums getting fast, and then the backing vocals going like the oh, that's I really do enjoy that. And Haley bringing in the loudness and the vocal carry, singing all the way through and stuff, like all we know is falling. I do like which a few tracks on here, they do a slow down, which is fun. I like that. They slow down to an almost silent beat, with Haley just following the atmosphere in her voice, saying, you never said this wasn't what you wanted, was it? And then the guitars come to life, and then everything else as well, as we enter the lines, this isn't what you wanted, and then the chorus itself again. So yeah, very straightforward, but it's a good song nonetheless. Alright, the next song, the juggernaut for this band's first album, Pressure. Sims 2. You made it far, right, when you're on a Sims game. But the music video is pretty interesting. One, I'm sure the Philadelphia Flyers are ecstatic, or like were ecstatic, considering Haley wore a t-shirt of those. I'm sure if you look at a graph of Flyers t-shirts sold, it's just whoop, like skyrocketed. But it is also interesting, pressure of being a teenager and all this shit that you go through and stuff like that. Because there's like a male perspective, or just working out like a fast food business and just like the bullshit of all that. And then there's like a female perspective of the pressures of maintaining a certain body, or in terms of weight, because the lady, she's just open up like a Hershey bar and somebody like yanks it, like, no, you can't have that, it's going to make you fat. And they just trying on dresses. It's like, oh, no, try this on. And it's like, probably not even her style, and, skinnier for a skinny person. So, yeah, whether it is, in that video, just bullshit of work, or bullshit of this sort of having to conform to something. And then obviously just like a bunch of other stuff that goes on in like teenagers' lives and stuff like that. But for the song Pressure itself, I love that opening riff, and the drums just come bashing in. It is a fun alt-rock song, to listen and sing to. And then, the intro, you begin, she's asking if the time was well spent and worth it, because I don't want to fall asleep, and I'm just going to feel empty. And I love the way the guitar and like the beat follow with every word, as like the tension is building up in the song, with her lines such as fear I might break, I can't take it, lie awake feeling empty. and then the chorus hits, right? Like shit just kind of goes off the walls. Everything's all high. Vocals are strong. You know, can feel the pressure. It's getting closer now, and we're better off without you. Then, you know, like things kind of drop back down again. So it's a fun play on pressure. You know, build, blow up, and then we're kind of calm again. Build, blow up. So that's always it's a pretty nice part to it. She goes off of other pressures or like sad feelings, you know, losing hope, not knowing things, struggles of letting things go. Obviously, like I've talked about, feeling empty. And then just as the song "All We Know," there is a slow part that starts to like get kicked back up when she's talking about, you know, letting things go. And then obviously the chorus itself hits again. So yeah, it's a fun song. Alright, the next song is "Emergency," the third single of this album. I do think they got the singles right. You know, I would say perhaps even "Brighter" or like "Conspiracy" could have been another single. But for these three right here, yeah, I think they definitely made a good case having them as like music videos and stuff like that. This one's pretty, you know, music video. It's one of those things too where it's like directing the music video, but like the scene is directing the music video, you know. So it's kind of funny seeing stuff like that. And they're all beat up and bloody in tux, and as in like tuxedos, and like Haley's in a like a wedding dress. If you read about it, like this song, pretty much, you know, going through the whole like divorce of her parents and stuff. Like I read about it. There's some interview she did on like the New York Times, and it just sounds like a fucking mess, you know, just having to go through all that and stuff. Yeah, luckily I've never had to deal with that or you know, experience that in my family, but I just couldn't imagine, especially if you're a teenager, right? Having to go through a divorce. Yeah, that just sucks ass, right? But for the song "Emergency" itself, I love the song, you know, and you know, it's just starting the song, you know, just down to the point presentation, like saying that this is an emergency. You know, basically the entire song, it's like from her lens, she can see like, okay, this shit's all falling apart, but you know, perhaps you guys probably aren't seeing it, or you know, like relationships that like, oh no, we can work this out, but from like an outside perspective, it's like this shit's gonna blow up, you know, like there's it's like toxic, it like there's really no love in it at all, a lot of arguing and bickering and stuff. You know, it's not your fault because like nobody's talking about it, but you know, I really would have hoped if this would have stayed alive, right? But for the song itself, like, you know, the shit gets heavy when he starts singing. You know, if you were wrong if you thought I would just get up and leave, and I won't stop holding on, and then just constantly asking the person if they are listening, if they understand. Like, don't you know this is an emergency? All the time, and it's all the same tone as the line. You know, this is an emergency. Just that straight to the point. Sort of deadpan serious tone to it. It's not your fault because nobody wants to talk about it, right? I do love the chorus, when she's singing, you know, I've seen love die way too many times when you deserve to be alive. Great, you know, I do enjoy that stuff. I do like in this song, there's like various like vocal distortions, almost like a radio effect going on with her voice. There's a change in atmosphere around the time when she starts talking about the scars, like they won't fade. Things just kind of drop off. That's a nice touch. But at the end of the day, this is just, you know, punk, you know, sort of pissed off mood embedded in both the delivery and the instruments. Alright, the next song is Brighter, and sorry, I failed to mention this, but this song is dedicated to a friend. I don't think we're going to be able to see that, but right there, Lori, you shine brighter than anyone. She unfortunately was with on like a boating experience with Haley, and she unfortunately drowned. So this song is about her, and then obviously the next song is going to be about another friend, but that friend unfortunately took their life. But for the song "Brighter," Like I said, it's about, for friend Lori, but it's just like a punk attitude, with many of the lines being shouted and like this high sounding guitar work. It's just, punk, whatever you want to call it, post punk, all the way through. And the opening stanza, it's like really defeated, right? So this is how it goes. I would have never known. If it ends today, I want you to know that you shine brighter than anyone, right? And then, like, after that part, the word anyone, or at least close to it, it builds up, I believe, with, like, the drums and stuff. And then, like, that's when the shit goes really crazy with all the chorus and stuff. About, things getting taken too far. Don't you know, it's not this hard. I don't really want to go there. And, just like, please, not this time. So, just like an intense situation, I don't want to go through it right now. Just kind of try and do everything we can just to, move on or whatever. I just don't really want a horrible experience and stuff like that. I do enjoy the change in the delivery of the lines. When she says, I believe it's in the chorus. Yes, it is. When she says, well, it's not this hard. It's very drawn out. And as well as the line, no, not this time. That's on Decode, right? that line. And the instruments become much softer as well. But this song, there's moments of sadness. If you're gone, I feel small. It's not your fault if you run away. I'd still wave goodbye. So there's, like, obviously, the song is about her friend. Like I talked about in the beginning, to where there's definitely things that you can relate to in, like, your own lens of, like, a situation that had happened, stuff like that. But Brighter, I think it's a pretty damn good song. The next song is Here We Go Again, and this one is a much different approach to his song as we've heard in the past four. That's because this sort of constant beat throughout it. It's pretty hip and bouncy, which is fun. And this one is, I read it's about her parents' divorce and stuff. But like I said, it can be applied to anyone, like any situation, right? The first stanza is reflecting on things said in the past, things that maybe you might regret, or you perhaps don't believe anymore, don't take seriously, don't follow it anymore, things like that. So sort of analyzing things you said in the past and, like, whether or not it reflects your present day or whatnot. But the chorus itself in this song, it's all about writing to her parents, saying that, like, they're all right, like her and the band, they're all right, but, like, I'm not sad to see you go. Or, like, I don't know, like, perhaps a parent in the divorce. I'm not too sure. But with that, I do love her various vocal carries, which do elevate certain lines, and the music brings it up. And, you get the occasional, like, double-tracked vocals, which are nice. I dig that stuff. And around, like, the 2:20 mark, there's a fun instrumental jam. And then after that jam, Haley comes back in, after with the chorus and everything, and the song ends in repetition, in that sort of distorted car radio effect of her saying, like, repeatedly, so we just take it back, and not in that effect, but like a nice sort of angelic, drawn out line of no, I'm not. So it's a nice little bleed in, like the no, I'm not waves through as, like, the constant repetition of so we just take it back. And, if it fades off and fades off. I know I didn't really speak a whole lot about the lyrics on this song, but that's just because, like, the general gist of it is just writing and, us being alright, but I'm not sad to see you go, and just reflecting on things in the past and whether or not you still agree or believe with that stuff. But I do enjoy this song. The next song is called Never Let This Go. All about a one-sided relationship, but the person that perhaps definitely feels like, oh, this is a one-sided relationship, doesn't want to let it go because, like, wow, this really isn't working, while I'm not really feeling anything at all. The last thing I want to be is alone, right? It is a much different sort of musical style than what we've heard. I wrote it down, like, very bare bones, straight to the point, like, hey, this is how I feel type of song. And the lyrics, they are rather depressing. You hit off with that intro of perhaps my heart wouldn't hurt if it stopped beating. And just trying to find the words, like, throughout this entire song. It's just trying to find the words to describe this relationship. And while I don't want you to get me wrong, I'm just struggling to describe both yourself and me. Like, what is this relationship all about? Are we feeling anything? Is it going to work out at all? I don't want you to get tired of saying it's going to be all right all the time. You're going to think I'm kind of a joke. But I still, even though that this is clearly one-sided, I'm not feeling anything. Like, the last thing I want to do is be alone. So for that reason, I'm going to stick to this otherwise dead relationship, right? Like I said, Bear, straight to the bones, sort of serious, this is how I feel attitude. But I like this song. Alright, the next song is Whoa. I believe I talked about in the intro. I was like, it's probably like, there's like one song that's kind of about. This song's kind of it. I'm not saying it's a bad song by any means, but I think if you were to line them all up for me and just say, like, oh, what do you think's a weak track, I'll pick this song. Again, I don't think it's bad by any means, but it's all right. I completely understand though why obviously why they made this song as a complete concert song, because the chant of the word "whoa" is supposed to get everybody chanting it and stuff. And I'm sure if I was at a concert and that happened, I wouldn't be saying this shit at all. I'd be 100% partaking in it, But this song is like a constant instrumental play and a vocal range throughout. Nothing crazy, just pretty straightforward. And as for the lyrics themselves, stuff that we can all relate to. Struggling, fighting on your own, or feeling that you have to fight on your own. Everybody's saying you'll get better when it doesn't feel like it. Nothing's worse than being depressed and waking up in the morning, having the sun shine on your face and saying, nope, I've been there. And feeling, quote unquote, selfish, asking for help, or, like, I didn't want to ask for help because I think I was selfish and stuff like that. So yeah, like I said, very straightforward, a definite made for concert song. But I think it's alright. Alright, the next song is Conspiracy. It's like, oh shit, you want to talk about a great deep track? Check this song out. So I read that because she's like, I believe, yeah, like I said, she's like 15 when this album came out. But like, she wrote this song, I read when she was 13. I was like, holy shit, that's some talent right there, 13. I don't know, I can barely make toast, let alone come up with a song like this. But like, right off the bat, like, the song is going to be down and out. You got like the drums start hammering in, and then the guitars come through, and the vocals are serious, they're down, they're moody, and, this whole conspiracy lies in trust and loyalty and just questioning, like, what's right and what's wrong, like, what's the actual reason behind a certain situation. Who do you side with, who do you listen to, who do you follow, that type of thing. Because in the beginning, she's being ushered by somebody, telling her, keep quiet, or they know why we don't trust them. And then Haley is just like, well, like, speak up, because I need to know why we don't trust them, but it's like, no, shut up, just, we don't trust them, stuff like that. But like, man, like, right before the line "explain to me this conspiracy against me," and like that vocal delivery is fucking amazing, by the way. But like the backing vocals, like how they rise, and the instruments itself, it's like this like holy rising feeling to it. It's great. I really do enjoy it. Like I said, Haley just raising her voice with that. You get this like sort of stand out electric guitar play in the last section, with her saying, when all security fails, will you be there to help me through? And throughout all, right, because like she's having a fight between like, who do you side with, who do you trust, like what is like credible and stuff like that. You got somebody saying, don't trust them, but then the other side is just kind of like, like why. And she's really like questioning herself, sort of like, tell me how I've lost my power, how, stuff like that. And especially, at the end, like, she just fucking delivers that line, tell me how I lost my power, like that, those words, I've lost my power, and then just how as well. So yeah, if you haven't heard the song or it's been a while, I definitely consider checking this out. I think it's a pretty good song. The next song is Franklin, as in Franklin, Tennessee. The song starts off right away, barely an intro. We've seen that on this album. But this song and the next song, pretty good duet between Hayley Williams and Josh Farro. Obviously, Josh Farro leaves, but his brother Zach stays with the band throughout. Well, actually, I take that back. He did leave for a bit, but now he's back. But yeah, Franklin itself. So like you keep the same delivery and emotions as the last song, Conspiracy. But it's about their hometown of Franklin, Tennessee, and returning back, but now being recognized. It's no longer this quiet town when they return. It's like you can't blend in with people anymore. You can't just be random civilian number 434. You're now Hayley Williams of Paramore, or Josh Farro of Paramore. Holy shit, that type of thing. Give me your autograph. Everybody just treats you like a celebrity and not a resident, which is pretty interesting because I've been reading that Matthew McConaughey book. That's exactly what he's talking about here. So it's like, hey, I know what that's about in terms of the book and stuff like that. But this song works great, like I said, with Hayley and Josh during the main choruses. Hayley singing "Everything Has Changed." It's like that nice angelic delivery, while Josh sings various lines like, "Could you remind me of a time when we were alive?" and "Could you help me push aside all that I left behind?" All the while with the line, "Do you remember?" So his is kind of down and out. You got that same sort of stretched out delivery that Hayley's doing, but it's a much more kind of somber tone. While Hayley, like, obviously it carries a somber theme to it. It's a much more heightened vocal range and stuff like that. It works wonderful. I really do enjoy it, and I love how the song fades off with those lines and stuff like that. So yeah, it's a good song. Alright, to end the album is My Heart. This one is on the Final Riot as well, but for this one, this song has a melancholy written all over it, but like this song, it was intended for God. But we, like I said, with Franklin, we keep it with the Hayley and Josh duet. But Josh says, okay, I'm no longer going to do that sort of somber delivery. I'm going to do fucking screamo. And that's what happens. Hayley sings most of the song, but like Josh definitely comes through. And, with the lines themselves, they're kind of like in their mindset, it's like, oh shit, like, are we kind of distancing ourselves from God? Like, we don't want to do that. He's still, like, the forefront of us. We still follow, love and all that stuff. And just reassuring that they love and care for him, right? Because some of the lines says, sing us a song and we'll sing it back to you. We could sing on our own, but what would it be without you? And Hayley Williams does a great job with the lines, this heart, it beats only for you. It's great emotional stuff, especially towards the end when shit just goes crazy with Josh and Hayley just pumping up the emotion and stuff with those lines. And Josh with his screamo lines. And speaking of screamo, I know like the song, I kind of missed that part, with like the alternate version of the song Emergency with the screamo stuff. I prefer the album version, but it's always interesting seeing what different takes happen within a song. But for Josh with his screamo delivery, he's delivering, my heart beats for you, planes don't go, and planes don't fade away. And like I said, shit gets crazy at the end. Haley, this passionate, angelic voice, and Josh with this like guttural vocal performance. It's a pretty good song. Like I said, I'm not really religious at all, but I don't fucking care as long as you make a good song. And hey, good for you for being open about following God and stuff like that. There you go. Paramore, All We Know Is Falling. Pretty damn good first album for a band. In my opinion, it only gets better from here. Obviously, I will see you next week for their album Riot. Love this album, hate this album, let me know. Otherwise, I will see you then. Cheers.